It's showtime, folks.
Good
Why is
afternoon,
he?
everybody.
Oh, look at that.
Fucking goddamn dragon. Every single time you start a stream, you say something that makes no sense.
Good.
Every
Make-
fucking time.
I'm gonna make you mine.
Literally, the moment that you went live, somebody like started a saw outside my house. So sorry.
What the hell?
And that's
It's
funny.
like,
This is no
oh.
time to
scream.
saw.
I heard a scream in someone microphones.
Just smile at the dragon. Do you have enough? Do you have enough gold to eat? You need to
I
eat
don't
some
know.
gold
I
and
am
take a nap.
okay.
He's always hangry, so therefore there you go.
No, I'm not joking. I heard a scream, like a
That was probably the saw in Ape's background because he literally just said that.
No, this was 5 minutes ago. I was not planning saying anything. Like this
It was-
before we play stream. Woman, I swear.
You sure about that?
Man, don't believe me, man. Bitch.
I hope Wildheart shows up.
I don't know about that. I know Gio would, but well, I don't know about that. I know CC and Spooky would be in the side chat.
Three,
Whichever one
two,
comes first.
1. I bet spooky first.
Yeah, I wouldn't be too surprised.
Should we tell him before they two get in here?
Well, let's take bets. Who's gonna be in the side chat first?
Yeah. I
Let's see
bet
who would
spooky.
win.
I bet spooky.
Nope, CC was first.
Huh, there's a new one.
He wasn't even on the board. What's up, CC?
You lost the bet.
Fucking, I'm dead. I'm fucking dead. And
Well,
then
we
he
were bet
writes
for
this.
both of them.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Alright.
Okay, next time we do this game, we bet on you.
Watch, if you do that, it's gonna be the opposite.
That's the
You
thing.
wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, for once. Fucking YouTube's like, you know what, I'm gonna just send you notification this time. After like the last few times it wouldn't fucking happen.
Yeah, I
You
heard
heard
the
what?
only thing you can be notified if post in Discord night server and you be notified from there, but YouTube is weird.
YouTube is fucking weird. Like every single time Ape goes live, I don't get fucking notified. It's like, why? You hate me. YouTube fucking hates me. I swear. It's
YouTube.
ridiculous.
I've
hate
heard
all of
that
us.
if you like go to the channel and you like unclick the bell and then click the bell again for all notifications, sometimes that fixes it, but I don't know if that's true.
I highly doubt that.
Kind of
I know it doesn't work.
unplug it and plug it back in.
Yeah. Have you turned on, turn it off and on again? Like, fucking.
I don't know.
No.
It's not working.
Were you doing an Indian accent there,
No.
Wolf?
Maybe. I don't know. A lot of different accents just start coming out. I don't know why. I have no control over them.
One of my friends telling me to say, Wolf got called out. Then like, wait, that doesn't make no sense. He never got called out before.
Oh, really? Because I've been called out before. You just have
Really?
never been there. Yeah.
Because I don't give a red ass. I have no notification. You know what? I never been notified of when you stream. That's the thing is. At time like you say, like, yeah, I did a stream that this day. Like, when? Where? Huh? Like, when? When is this? Like, damn you, YouTube. You have one damn job.
Fucking YouTube. You need to get your shit together, damn it. Fuck.
There was several
Maybe it's the
different streams for
F-bombs.
that.
I know I swear like a sailor, but damn.
So you tell us we should never swim once again? Okay, let's try that. Let's try that. See
That's
how
gonna
much
be
that
a hard as fuck.
See that similar.
Shut up. Alright. So CC, we're interviewing Mac for well, talk about this black magic that he spoke about the other day with Snowman. So I'm just curious on what actually made you think of starting to get into magic as my phone went off.
It's important as we enter this conversation that everybody on the panel and in the chat and that watches it in the future all pay attention to synchronicities and coincidences during this broadcast and in
Brought
perpetuity.
to you in this theater near you.
So was it a long
Or
lost
did
friend
you?
that just texted you? I'm just kidding.
No.
It's not. And
Some random app. That's all.
I already have to correct you. I never claimed anything about any color magic. I don't
Well.
like really assign colors to different kinds of magic. You can do that though, and I get why you would do that, but for me it's either like it's like magic or muggles, it's like magic or rationality. Magic is like kind of my umbrella term for well, it's more specific than this, but very in general, it's about like playing around with supernatural ideas and seeing what can be gained through that engagement with those ideas. And some of those ideas are gods, and some of them are demons, and some of them are like just visualizations of light or ideals like peace. Or safety, those kind of things. They're supernatural in the sense that they're not something you can like measure and hold and like point to, but they can be interacted with as if they exist. And there does exist a long tradition of space of techniques for accomplishing this interaction with the supernatural, and that's called magic, and it's a really fun subject to study, and I've been at it for a really long time. The reason I got into it, I mean, there's nothing profound about it. I was like an angsty, tween at the bookstore, and I was like, what's this book about doing spells and stuff like that? And I bought it, and it was really dumb, but that was like the beginning of that was the beginning of my journey. I actually still have that book. It's called The Magician's Companion, and it was my first like, hey Bone, what's up? It was my first kind of like exposure to ideas of traditional magic, which is such a broad subject. But it encompasses everything from astrology to tarot cards to invocation and evocation, and there's like inscribing sigils and chanting and drumming and dancing, and there's all kinds of cool stuff. I've mainly leaned into sort of the Rosicrucian Golden Dawn style of magical systems, which is a fairly recent, like fairly well in terms of like the history of humanity, a fairly recent development. And especially, so do you know what I mean when I say the Golden Dawn system?
I never heard of that, so I'm kind of curious on what that is.
Okay. So the Golden Dawn, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn was the full name of it. Hermetic referring to the Hermetic tradition, which is the kind of Western magic tradition that's associated with the god Hermes, or otherwise known as Mercury, which he's like the language and science and magic god,
Mm-hmm.
and is, you know, given credit for a whole bunch of sort of fundamental magical ideas like as above, so below, etc. Um, so this is a organization. I guess you could call it a secret society, although I mean, all of their books have been published now and everybody knows everything about them inside and out. There's no real secrecy to them, but at the time they did keep kind of, when they created themselves in the early 20th century, they kept pretty tight-lipped about their membership and their doings and everything. But basically they had this approach to magic that intersected with sort of the new technology that, or understanding that psychology was and psychiatry was coming up with. It was sort of the
Mm-hmm.
beginning of that science as well. And um, so for instance, like Carl Jung was talking about archetypes, which are like ideas that have forms, that we, or you know, feelings or whatever gestalts that have forms and can be represented by symbols. And so like the big father with the open comforting arms and big beard and everything, that's an archetype, you know, it's the father archetype. But there's also a mother archetype and a teacher archetype and etc., you know. And so the Golden Dawn would developed a system where they would specifically try to visualize these archetypes and call them gods and give them names that corresponded with either Greek or Egyptian gods and goddesses and other spirits and things like that. And they would create these rituals basically where you would engage with these idea forms, for lack of a better term, and grow through contact with them. Like say you have an issue with your mom or something, you know, like your actual
Mm-hmm.
mom, and because of that issue you don't experience a lot of comfort, or it's difficult for you to accept love or something like that. Spending time with that archetype, that universal archetype of the mother, can teach you to heal that part of you. And the members of the Golden Dawn really, they became, some of them became very influential just in history. The most famous one is named Aleister Crowley, or Crowley. He preferred to be called Crowley, who's a notorious black magician. He encouraged that reputation. Yeah, called himself the evilest man, you know, ever, and the beast and all of that. He loved that kind of imagery. He loved fucking with Christians, so he would be like, he'd be all about that. But he was a member, and a member of that organization too, as was a couple of famous poets and this guy. Oh, I'm bad with the names in this history, but the guy that started Wicca, the tradition of Wicca or modern witchcraft, was also a member of the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn. So he sort of
Okay.
like refined and simplified the Golden Dawn rituals and offered it to the world as, you know, modern witchcraft. And so there's a ton of influence out of this group, and really like kind of tidy instruction manuals. Well, it's a very big book that people call it the brick, you know, the Golden Dawn book, but it's like all of their rituals for all of their, they had different grades of magician, you know, so you start out at like a neophyte level and then ascend to like invisible master of the brotherhood or whatever fancy name they had for it, you know. And it's a lot of work, but it's a lot of repetition and a lot of visualization. And as you do it, the visualizations that you do become more and more solid. They become more reliably present. And I think that that's like, that's what I like about it. You know, it's sort of like almost like a foolproof system, you know. So
So this sounds to me almost like you're talking about like manifestation, like almost like the like this power of suggestion, law of attraction, like these things that can be manifested by human mental power, basically.
um that's not exactly what I'm talking about. It's more like um I'm glad I stopped yapping and let you ask a question, because I was definitely getting off track. Let's see. Okay. there is an aspect of manifestation about it, but not in the sense like what I think you mean, like the secret kind of thing where you're like, you know, put it out there and manifest it. Like that is magic as well. That would fall under the umbrella of magic.
Right.
That's that law of attraction thing is that's actually in that's part of like the emerald tablets, which is associated with Hermes Trismegistus. So like the idea that like attracts like and stuff like that. Um, that's old like magic wisdom. I think it's really like poorly applied and marketed right now and by all kinds of shysters. So because it's sort of a cheap trick too. Um, I'm gonna dive into that real quick. I'm gonna tell you what I mean by that. The people
Yeah.
that like wrote The Secret and that kind of capitalize on hermetic wisdom in that way and become like pop magic almost. Um, they're they're really like using like very like easy reality hacks, let's call them easy magic tricks. And my favorite example of it is um, there's a thing called the quarter spell, which which the whole spell is you just say, I'm going to find a quarter today, and you speak that out into existence. And then throughout the day, at some point during the day, there's a pretty good chance you'll find a quarter. I mean, just like naturally find a quarter, and you'll get
Mm.
that reinforcement when that happens. Even if you like find it the next day, your irrational mind will overwhelm your rational mind, and you'll say, "This is confirmation of the spell that I just did." But then, what's really weird is after you find the first one, you start to see them everywhere, and you can actually like because there's something that happens with psychology where with pattern recognition where finding the first one establishes a pattern where that glint, that specific like color of silver or whatever, you'll like become more attuned to it, and so you become better at finding or manifesting quarters, you know. And that happens just by like changing our attention, you know. um,
Mm.
the difference is that first of all, I wouldn't use it for material things like that. I find that that's like the least valuable part of magic. And second of all, the things I'm manifesting are more like internal states. So um, let's ah, okay. So I gave this example the other day, but we were in private chat about invoking the spirit of tobacco to make a deal with it and say, you know, hey, I don't want to smoke tobacco anymore. What do I got to give you to for you to release your hold on me? You know, what are you really interested in from me? And so, you know, personifying tobacco as an entity instead of as a problem that I have made that dealing possible, you know, made that interaction as like commerce possible. I can't do that with just an object that I'm like buying at the gas station and smoking, but I can do that with a person or with an entity, you know, that represents that pack of smokes, you know. And actually it was pretty easy. So you know, you have the conversation, you say, hey, what, you know, what is it you want from me? And immediately the answer was obvious. What tobacco wanted from me was for me to constantly be thinking about it, you know, uh and either smoking or wishing I was smoking, you know. And so and I thought about that and I said, well, um deal, you know, I'll keep thinking about you constantly whether I smoke or not. And in psychology, I think I've never studied that field, but in psychology, I think that's called reframing, where you like think about an internal state in a different way, where you like turn it, you know, turn your perspective on it. And so the addiction's still there, but now I'm not thinking of it as an addiction. I'm thinking of it as me holding up my end of the bargain with tobacco, you know, with
Mm.
the the lady behind the tobacco. Um, and that's still like it's been years since then. I don't smoke tobacco anymore, but you know that deal still holds. Like I would love one right now. So um reframing, like in psychology, is like, um oh my god, switching from like being stuck in traffic and complaining about it to saying, oh wow, this is a moment where I can catch up on like listening to this album I was listening to or something like that, and being thankful for it instead of being frustrated by it. You could do that on a way bigger scale with magic. So there's like techniques that allow you to do that deliberately. um,
Yeah, that was something that we worked on a lot in the cognitive behavioral therapy I was doing. And reframing, in hindsight, kind of to
oh
see
yeah,
how your perception of a situation is skewed. But yeah, it's a technique that you want to try to use, as in the moment.
right.
Like you're talking about, like somebody cuts you off in traffic and saying, "Oh, that guy's an asshole," thinking, "Oh, well, maybe he's in a bigger hurry than I am," or something like that, and then you can kind of carry that into, like you said, like a net positive. Oh, well, this gives me an opportunity to exercise in patience.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I would consider that exactly what I'm doing, what I'm talking about when I'm doing magic. That's like a perfect miniature example of it. Um, that kind of reframing, except you try to do it like hardcore with your whole reality. You So, um, there's another aspect to it as well that I want to touch on, which I think is really important. Um,
Mhm.
um, or at least really interesting philosophically. Um, magic, or I guess like exploring these realms, like these kind of like off the beaten path, like forbidden kind of realms of human knowledge, like you guys do with the ghosts and stuff. It adds significance to reality, to my experience of reality. It adds profundity and significance even in otherwise mundane things. Like it almost like solves the problem of things being mundane. Like I don't really like most of my moments are charged with significance. There's synchronicities everywhere. There's a constant flow of meaning. And it's because I've spent so much time like working with symbols, uh, and understanding the symbols to actually represent real things. And so, uh, like the numbers and letters on license plates on my way to work, like tell me a story, and
Okay.
and it's just this whole like rich world of symbols and meaning and skewed ontology, and um, you know, it's really kind of fun too. So, I also have a theory that we all sort of engage in what I'm talking about anyway. And that
Mhm.
the difference is that I'm doing my best to do it, kind of intentionally. So, but I think a lot of us like, have a little spell we say so that that parking lot we hope for is open, or the parking space we hope for is open. Like we might be like, oh, please be open, please be open, please be open, and not even think about it, but you just did a recitation 3 times, and maybe you tensed your fist while you did it and added to the
Mm.
ritual, like, um,
So, are you saying that whatever you think on saying, well, not really necessarily think on saying, but are you saying that the entire world has magic around it, like everywhere, no matter where you're at and what you're doing?
yeah, definitely. Yep. The whole world. There's no such thing. Yeah. There's no such thing as a moment or a thing that's not significant. I don't, I don't live in that kind of world. I have before though. I think that that's
Mm-hmm.
like I think that that's the actual dark side, is when you live in a world that's completely meaningless, and I know there are people that live in that world. Those worlds exist. Um, they're they're the dark side of the Kabbalah. You know, they're the other side of that tree, and it's not a fun place to be. It's what rock bottom looks like, you know, when just like nothing means anything. And I think that's why I wanted to like bring that up, because I think significance itself is important, you know, and to deliberately infuse your reality with significance, whether it makes sense to or not, whether you can really like rationally defend that or not. It's very valuable. It's very valuable to do. I think though you have to be careful. There's all kinds of pitfalls, you know, like astrology is one of my favorite things to like believe in and be very skeptical of at the same time. Like there's so many perspectives where astrology just falls apart and you're like, what the heck? Like why was the moon a planet like for for most of the history of astrology? Like, and also like if you just like go to a different galaxy, all of the stars are in different configurations. Like they're only in those shapes from our point of view, you know, stuff like that. But also like,
yeah,
you can like study astrology and learn and grow from it. You can learn about yourself. You can learn about others. You can learn about relationships. It is a very like rich field of magic, but it's also a big pile of horseshit. You know? So and people like read horoscopes in the newspaper and like make decisions based on that, and that's where it becomes dangerous. Like you got to always like conditionally believe in those things. I think that that's kind of the trick, you know. And I think a magician learns to conditionally believe in things and also like be flexible. I was showing you guys this Robert Anton Wilson book before, Cosmic Trigger, which is a great kind of intro to magic book. And Robert Anton Wilson, I think he coined the term reality tunnel, which is like the limited version of reality that everybody has. And it's the reality is limited by things like the way we were brought up, the languages we know, the mythology we've been taught, and just our experiences, you know, throughout life. All of those things sort of like close things. When you're born, all you see is just like a big blur of everything, you know.
right,
But then you start to differentiate that blur, and it starts to close in, you know. Magicians try to open that up and try to steer it. Like today I'm like a hardcore right-wing conservative, and tomorrow I'm a completely like anarchistic, you know, like the state doesn't exist kind of guy. Like, you know. And I mean that's just the political spectrum, but moving around into like the reverence of Orthodox Christianity to like the bombastic Pentecostal rituals within the same supposed belief system, you know, being comfortable in both of those environments, that's part of it as well, you know, and finding significance and not saying this one's right and this one's not right, you know.
right.
That's not how it is for me. And it's not that it's all right or all wrong either. It's just like I can get down with God in both of those places, you know. and if I ever get the chance to, you know, do a meditation within the king's chamber of the pyramid, I'm going to do that surrounded as hard as I can with Egyptian ideas and imagery. So because that would be appropriate for that setting. I've heard that's a pretty cool thing to do too. You definitely like stuff happens. So
I have no idea if anyone else had a question. I know with Snowman, I know at one point, this was like freaking long time ago, so far long ago, that when you and I were in a call and we talked about like tarot cards and stuff like that, I think you mentioned something about you being a warlock.
I don't think I've never called myself a warlock.
Well, like I said, this was a long time ago, so I'm
He's
trying
a witch.
to like
hang him, burn him. He's a witch.
Like, I'm trying to get confirmation or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, a male witch by definition would be a warlock.
Yeah, I guess I'm a warlock. You could call me a warlock. I prefer the term reality fiddler. No, ontological terrorist. I consider myself a magician. I do magic. I practice magic. I believe in magic, and I've enriched my life that way. I have like belonged to like Wicca groups and have done like that kind of magic too, which is all really like sweet and sexual and nature based and really really nice. Like it's a really nice system. And I guess you could call me a warlock from that. I never wore a pointy hat though. I do have a cloak.
I don't see that. Yeah. I don't see you wearing your pointy hat at all.
No pointy. I want a pointy hat. I don't have one. Actually, you know what kind of hat I like for magic is the Smurf hat. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know that hat.
Yeah. That's an old magic hat.
Oh, God.
That cartoon is full of symbolism.
Any warlock who wear that damn Merv hat, like, I'm here to save you. I'm a warlock. Like, why the fuck you wearing a Smurf hat? They're like, no, Christian. They're like, but that looks stupid on you. Like, shut up. It's stylish. Like,
Look at that. Look at that avatar. That's beautiful.
Excellent.
That's a nice hat.
Nope.
So, I don't know. I'm surprised you're not more familiar with these ideas, Silver, with your whole, I mean, the whole runic tradition and tarot tradition and stuff. That's all a big part of it,
It's funny you bring that up because, like, for years, I think, like, probably since I was a kid up to, like, the age of 16, a lot of things happened, but, like, I never really, like, thought of it as anything else, really, because I wasn't really interested in it at the time. But then as I, like, started to learn more, of this kind of stuff, I'm like, alright, now I kind of want to get into mythology or anything like that. So I'm still learning about a lot of things. I'm agnostic and I have what I have, but just so much other things that I don't know. For me, I don't know as to why it happens. I go from like learn about one thing and then I jump to another thing and then I go back to that and then jump to another thing. It's like I don't know why.
I think that's pretty natural. I think our interests kind of wander, and I think it's good to follow them where they go too.
Yep.
What are you into lately?
Well, I've been morely into learning like Nordic stuff. Like I have Nordic runes cards and stuff. I would also like to have like some other stuff that has to do with paranormal and magic and all that shit.
So the one that's right above your head, what's that? The one that looks like a tree with two branches on it.
Yeah. This is my little Reaper buddy from Halloween.
No. The rune right above your head.
Rune,
that this? Specific rune. Tell me what it means.
Gonna pull this out of my ass, aren't you? It has been a while because I know that like
you got anything? Got an impression?
That deep sound.
Like I know for this one is like warrior. You can't really
see that. One. The arrow?
Yeah, the arrow right here. It's more of It means warrior. So that
Warrior is a
one,
great archetype. So
yeah.
what is So what is warrior? Yeah. What does that look like?
Um I guess it like really means to them as far as like Dale Norse ways. You're stronger, you've got a lot of strength, you fight and protect people, but it's more about the entire fighting and strength part, trying to get through it. Um there's people out there that will fight certain things that you don't normally see people fighting.
Mm-hmm.
It could be their mental health or something like that, and they get through it. So, they're more of a warrior part. So that's pretty
Got
much
it.
what I'm
Like
into.
like resilience. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
It's
All
been a
right.
while, but when I studied rune casting, so my understanding is that the casting of the rune, it's more like a prescription, like this is how you ought to um, uh, act in this situation. Like you're
Hmm.
uncertain of how
Yeah.
to proceed.
Okay. Kind
Mhm.
of the I Ching kind of works like that too. Kind of gives advice.
Yeah,
Yeah, it shows you the path through of like, what it's kind of similar as tarot cards, but a little bit different because this one is about like the gods that they have, like Odin, Freya,
Yeah.
all that kind of stuff.
Thor.
But yeah, Thor. So
So, all right. So in the magical theory, all of those
mhm.
things you ascribe to that symbol, to that rune, um, you've already made that association. Like that association already exists. That rune already symbolizes that stuff to you without you even having to verbalize it. And
Yeah,
so the idea is if you were ever in the need of strength, you could ground yourself and focus and settle your mind and imagine that rune. And the
hmm
way that I would do it is I would imagine it literally in front of me with whatever color I wanted to associate with it to reinforce those attributes and sort of have it like blazing in front of me and then bring it within me and then finish the ritual. And I could guarantee that if I had done the work that you've done, associating those things with that symbol, those ideas of resilience and strength, that I would stand up from that feeling like I could take on anything. And
oh, yeah.
that's the kind of ape. That's the kind of manifestation I would agree that I engage in. You know, like manifesting that way, like internal states almost. And it is kind of a magical power to be able to do that. You know.
Yeah,
Um,
I think it's also just to help with the problem of indecision, right? Because we can be uncertain in a situation to kind of leave it to this kind of arbitrary system of well
yeah,
I can't decide so let this particular thing decide for me, and then once that gives me the confidence to act, then once you put that action into motion, it's like you can't you no longer have to sit with those doubts. This is the way it is.
that's a good point. Yeah, you get like liberated from those doubts then, especially if you trust the system, the
or
divinatory system. I haven't done a lot of divination. I worked with the I Ching for a while, but it became more of a philosophy book to me than a divinatory book. It's really a book of wisdom to me. But one time I did a fish entrails divination, like super old school. Just like sliced open a fish and threw its guts on the rock and like tried to zone out on it and read it. Read it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
no, I never heard of that. Fuck.
You're listening to chicken.
Yeah, it's done with chickens too, but the Greeks, I think it was the Greeks used to use fish. I don't know.
Hmm.
I was on a rafting trip and there were 5 rafts on the trip, but the 5th raft, the guys in the back, they got really far behind and we were like worried. We hadn't seen them in an hour. We were upriver and we were like, I don't know, like, should one of us go back? Like, what, like, what do we do?
Yeah.
And so I was like, let's consult the fish entrails. And I was like, I'm not sure, but I think what I'm seeing here is, okay, so here's my understanding of divination. If you can somehow like interact with a purely chaotic state, like something completely randomized, like in the traditional I Ching, you would throw yarrow stalks down, and the way they landed, or like flipping a coin is, more or less random, although it's binary instead of like more complex. Ooh, echo. So
That's just happened.
I'm embarrassing.
So you could like, or you could like throw like, I don't know, beans down or something like that. But any kind of chaotic system, it's not actually chaotic. It's ordered, and the way that it's ordered is in sync with the way the rest of the universe is ordered. So there should be a reflection between the state of the randomized objects and the state of the universe in general. There should be some kind of relationship. And the way that you can tap into that relationship has nothing to do with like actual language or like words or anything like that, but it has to do with like kind of a pre-linguistic understanding of it. So what I did was I threw the fish guts down, and I just sort of like emptied my mind and stared at them and waited for some kind of impression to fall on me. And that impression was that they weren't that far away. And that's what I reported, but everybody ignored me, the stupid guy looking at fish guts, and they went they went to go find them. But it turned out I was right, but for whatever that's worth. They were just got something out of it. They found a really good spot for fishing, so they were hanging out there fishing. That's all. That's all.
Could also just be that taking the time to stop, get the fish, and stare at the guts, gave them time to catch up to you. By that point,
that's true. Just killed some time. Let it resolve itself. That was an awesome trip. That was in Colorado. It's like a rapids, whitewater rapids trip. Amazing.
Does anyone else have any questions? Because I don't have any that's going to be on my ass.
No, because my brain's just imagining of a man cutting a fish open, grab the guts and throw it. Like to other people, like, are you crazy? Do you need help? May I help you, sir? Why are you throwing a gut on the ground? Like, why you do that?
Why did you want those?
Like, why did you want those?
Hey, I was gonna eat those.
Like, I just thought of those at the same time. Huh? Did someone ever do that in public? I'm kind of concerned of, like, you need help. Here, have the card of my therapist.
I do need help.
Like, are you okay? Are you bored?
We all need help, okay?
All the help I
That's
can
just.
Yep. That long you cook that fish, make sure you eat that fish properly. Like after you're done. Like this fish tastes disgusting.
We actually did eat fish that night. we ate rainbow trout.
Oh,
we found chanterelles and wild chives in the woods too, and we put that in the trout. Like we cut, after we cleaned the guts out and stuff, we stuffed them with the chanterelles and the chives. They were so good. The only thing is, I don't know. I guess that's the only time I've ever eaten trout while I was camping, but it was really like a lot of bones. You had to like really like pick the little meat out of it and stuff. It's kind of annoying.
Just a pick at bones, like, God damn you. Damn you, bones, damn you.
Should have saved him for Ape. He has a bone collection.
I didn't know about this about you. You need help?
He doesn't really. He just has a skull. He has one skull that I know of.
Yeah, I have the one skull right now. I think I have a little femur somewhere in here too, but somebody found a
Who
steer
do you
skull.
kill?
No, no. Animal.
How did you pitch up and kill?
It was really good, CC. That was one of my favorite meals in my whole life. Of course, you get hungry after a day on the river like that. So, and somebody once said hunger is the best sauce. I think it was Epicurus.
Interesting.
Hunger spice, hunger pain, and hunger mushroom. Yum.
Hunger mushrooms. You're an odd person, Dragon, but I like you.
He's an odd one. Mr. Grinch.
Can you say that with different lyrics? Yeah.
No.
Mr.
No,
Dragon.
she'll get copyright striked.
Yeah, exactly.
Do anyone ever pay
Karaoke
attention to
sing-along.
copy strike nowadays?
I think so. I don't know. I hear people being weird about copyrights. More like copy wrong. That's what I say.
where's the sound effects for? Oh, god damn it!
Oh, you got yelled at.
Uh-oh.
Damn it, Mac.
Sorry,
I'm not
Big Ed.
your man. Damn mutt. Fuck off. Get out of here. No.
I didn't realize you were spoken for, Dragon.
No, he thinks I'm his, but no way in hell.
I don't know.
One, my dude, you never saw your face in this call.
It's okay. I assume your avatar is accurate to what you look like, so.
Damn.
It's okay. I can see past your rough exterior and I know you're just hungry for more gold. You should just.
I know.
He's always hungry.
Dragons eat gold, I think.
No, actually, eat meat.
Yeah, they eat meat.
What kind of creature you think eating gold? Hold on.
That's why they're always hoarding gold and stuff, because that's what they eat, I think.
No, they actually lay down on gold and treasures to make armor on the scales. So that's why they're harder to kill.
I'm starting to doubt your expertise here.
Well, I'm sorry. It's 12 o'clock here.
Not wrong.
Shush you.
No.
No, you can be
Oh,
the
look like a
authority on
child.
dragons. That's fine. I don't care.
Hold on. I want to say Silver Tate, no, like a 2-year-old child. In reality, she's
Hey, I'm
small.
not Jess. Okay, shut the fuck up.
Ooh, the child is fasting today.
You gotta remember,
Oh, you're the
Dragon.
child.
Apparently, you gotta remember, Dragon, that Jen is smaller than me. Okay. For fuck's sake. Excuse me, Bone. What the fuck?
Oh, congratulations.
Aww.
On
Congratulations. Who's the husband?
Get married to Bone? Who are you getting married
He's gonna
to?
get married to a wall in a second. Fuck.
What kind of wall? The China Great Wall or the
A
Amazon
brick
wall?
wall. How about that?
A brick wall. Sorry, we don't have
Done a
that.
divination or something.
What?
Yeah, we're gonna splatter him against the wall and then read the pattern that he leaves.
Hey, let's see here. What is his life story? He is a numbskull with a dumb ass head. Interesting. The powder say he's a dumbass. What else?
God damn.
This just got weird.
Hey, how
Yeah,
about those
this
Buffalo
just
Bills?
took a turn real quick.
We are bored. What the hell you expected from this thumbnail?
I was the only
Sorry.
one that actually had questions pulling out of my ass, and I don't have any more.
Wait a minute. So you make this planning to ask Mace about all of this stuff, but you have zero questions?
Hey,
What
you
kind of-
have zero questions, sir, so you shut your
Because
pie hole.
I got summoned in here. I was
Yes,
like
because
watching.
you're part of the ghost channel, you ding dong.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
For fuck's sake. I know if Soman was in here by now, he would have a lot more questions than me. I know that.
Oh, great Silver. Where the hell is he? Oh, great one.
Snowman.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Snowman's our newest ghost hunter.
He's the Elvis guy.
Yeah, you met him the other day.
Yeah, I like that guy. Yeah, I'll be right back. I got to get some more
Like
coffee.
King Bone wants to come in.
No, I'm sorry, but that's not happening.
Not today.
Not
We
today,
don't put
buddy.
King Bone in here.
This is a ghost channel, and technically we had a planned stream with only specific people to be in here, meaning the person we're interviewing and, well, the team itself. Sorry. And also, hi Dominic, I saw your message.
Well, I didn't want to
Had
walk
to-
it back too much, but because I know we were kind of talking about this earlier, but I did want to
Mm.
ask Mac about the about the God question, because he was talking about like this kind of magic existing like regardless of like religious believers. So I'm like wondering, I'm still like, this is like a human power? Like that's where I'm wondering, does this exist in the realm of like, is it a mental power? Is it a natural occurrence, or how are we defining that? Like talking about magic.
You know, I was kind of curious on that, but I didn't know how to like really word of that kind of a question. So when he does come back, you can ask him that question.
I'm back.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Okay, welcome back.
What's the question? His bone chopped liver?
His bone chop
No.
liver, yes.
Yes, he is.
Can we feed that to the shock of his demise, please?
Damn, you did. All right, stay put in the corner.
I
Will ya?
love King Bone.
Big
He's my friend.
Really, you're gonna try to put a dragon in?
You went in, Dragon. You went so fucking dark and deep instantly. Go back to your
What did I
corner.
miss? I just got some coffee.
So Ape
Can't believe you
wanted to
guys-
ask a question about the gods. When it
Okay.
comes to magic.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I think we already kind of ruled out, I mean, so I mean, well, I guess he kind of answered, because he did say it's supernatural, but where does this supernatural, or would you call magic a supernatural occurrence, or is it?
I think it's an okay term. I know it's a problematic term, but I think it does like it sets apart. Like for me, it differentiates what I would mean between like more rigorous scientific kind of explorations of reality, and this other like way that we can also investigate reality. I call it supernatural. I think you could also call it subjective, um, or I don't know, semiotic, maybe, if you wanted to be like materialistic about it. There's a way to do it that way, but I think it's handy to characterize it in traditional terms, and so I'm comfortable with the word supernatural to describe it.
But it's not linked to something we would call religious. Would you call it spiritual?
Um, hmm.
The
I
way
think
how
it's
you look at it.
I think it's related to religion. I huh. It's interesting because my belief in God, like I have a God belief, but it's sort of separate from all of this magic stuff. Like
Right.
the magic stuff is sort of within, God's universe. Is sort of my head canon of it all. I the God that I believe in is um transcendent, like in a real way, like um I struggle assigning adjectives because of how ineffable and transcendent uh, it's a being that I believe in and don't even like come close to comprehending. But for some reason, I have a belief in this being. So that's different than the gods and goddesses. I guess I'd put small g's on those ones that I talk about, sort of with permanent quotation marks around them when I'm doing magical ritual work. I don't know if that helps.
Um, yeah, well, because before the stream we were talking a bit about like atheistic spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think like this idea of magic could fall under that umbrella where you
I
don't
do,
necessarily?
yeah. I did say that. I do think that what I'm talking about, specifically the Hermetic tradition, you know, I mean, there's evidence, and I guess I think it's a fair enough claim to make that the early the early like examples of the scientific method, the rational method that we understand today, that was actually formulated by people who at the time were considered uh, magicians, hermetic magicians specifically, and alchemists, which of course were the primitive chemists. There didn't used to be a differentiation between scientific exploration and spiritual exploration of the universe. But that differentiation occurred within the context of magic, and so, like, I have a lot of respect uh, for you know that like focus and that rational focus, and I do believe that all of what I've been talking about today can be comprehended within a materialistic kind of worldview, um, and therefore an atheistic worldview. I deliberately haven't been talking about my God belief this whole time because all of the rest of the magic stuff it's almost like psychological exercises in comparison. They're not really. I mean, they're more charged than that. They're more charged than a thought experiment or something like that because you really try to gin up belief, which isn't something you can do, obviously, but you get as close to that as possible. You operate as if things are true, and you get results from it. You operate as if that rune actually represents inner strength, and then inner strength grows in you. And so there's an action and then there's a reaction to that. And that's something that you can understand in a very like materialistic way. Um, and I think it's fascinating to do that. A lot of the best magicians in the Western tradition were psychiatrists, as well, or that was their profession, and then they dabbled in magic. So, yeah, I definitely do think there you could find some really cool. Um, uh, there are experiences available to people without having to profess a belief in something that's irrational or impossible to demonstrate in magic. Like you could still like practice magic without like believing in it. So yeah, you might not want to call it magic anymore though. I mean, if you really are trying to do like an atheistic version of it, you might want to call it something else. But
Right, yeah.
I like I like all like the silly like fantasy aspects of it, and I find like it makes it more fun and easier to engage with as well. So, um,
Well, yeah, I mean the language we use. I mean, when we're talking about humans practicing magic, we call it doing tricks, right? You're doing a magic trick. So I mean,
Uh-huh.
that kind of entails it. Yeah. So yeah, I could see that. I think that's kind of what I'm doing, like in working my recovery program. Is like, I have to tell myself um, these affirmations that I'm going to do this or I'm not going to do this today. And engaging in those affirmations, it becomes so, right? And so that's
Yeah.
kind of a magic trick in a way.
Yeah, completely. What kind of, if I can ask, what kind of, like, what flavor of meditation do you practice? Like, no,
Uh,
like mindfulness meditation, or
yeah,
do do
I've
breath
been working
concentration?
with breath concentration, with mindfulness. I also try to do um, like as a form of meditation, gratitude practice. So
Oh, nice.
rather than like writing out the daily list of gratitudes, I like to meditate on the things that I'm grateful for.
Nice.
So it's mainly about focusing attention and then affirming intentions. So what are my intentions for today? Um, and then yeah, it's a lot of those affirmations. But it all just starts with kind of returning to the present, returning to the
Right.
breath, um, which I think is just good practice for anyone.
Yeah. Me too. I'm a big proponent of mindfulness meditation. I think it's a great thing. I'm glad you're doing it. Glad you're feeling better too.
Thanks. It's a new challenge every day, but I feel
Yeah.
more equipped to face the challenges.
Nice. That's awesome. And yeah, I think that that's like, I mean, I think that there's high magic involved in that practice that you're involved in. I think that that's, if you're comfortable like engaging with that and are experiencing benefits from it, I think you're doing magic, man. That's like, there's zero difference between doing those affirmations and doing that calming of your mind and what I'm talking about. So I just like mix it up more. I put like more colors and more decorations on it. That's all. Which you could do that too. I mean, it's more work. It makes a mess too, but you could do that too if you wanted. But it's effective either way. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to try. I think of different things like that now that I'm remembering more of my dreams. They're more vivid. I'm trying to interpret my dreams. What do they mean? Things like
nice.
that. Which, yeah.
Yeah, I've never really gotten into that. That's an interesting one. I don't dream a lot though.
Yeah, there's a whole study behind it. I think they call it like dream reading
Yeah.
or just dream interpretation.
I did do a bunch of like lucid dream work when I was in high school. Got into that, but kind of let go of that practice. I don't think it really taught me much, It was just sort of a diversion. Also, I don't think I got as good a rest when I was doing that lucid dreaming stuff. I
Yeah,
don't think I was sleeping as deeply or something. I don't know. Started to get real tired.
you're using psychedelics. I think I've heard people do use psychedelics for that.
Yeah, no, not during high school. I lived like way out in the boonies. I didn't have access to. Well, there probably were some things growing in the woods, but if I didn't know how to, I didn't know how to do any of that. I didn't know how to alter my mind at all back then. But no, I just did it. I was reading books about it and stuff. Like, just did it through meditation, and um, there's different kind of like gimmicks to teach you to lucid dream or to like trigger a lucid dream where you like you like can set an alarm, for instance. Um, that's like very quiet and it goes off on its own, but it like reminds you like right when you should be hitting your REM cycle. Like, you hear that noise and you train yourself in the dream to say, oh right, I'm dreaming. That's the whole trick,
Mm.
is to be in the dream and realize you're dreaming. Then you're lucid dreaming at that point. The one that worked for me, and if I ever tried to do it again, I would probably just go back to this technique, is you take your finger as you lay on your back as you're falling asleep, and the whole focus is being cognizant of the um, kind of levels of sleep as you slip into sleep. And so you stay aware, you stay lucid basically through the process of sleeping. And what you do with your finger is you like have it laying on the bed next to you or on a pillow or something, and you just barely wiggle it or tap it, just barely, almost to like where it's just micro motions, where it's not even like making a sound, or if somebody looking at it wouldn't even notice, but you're doing that, and you try to keep doing that as long as you can as you're falling asleep. And if you catch yourself stopping it, like then start up again, kind of like you do in mindfulness meditation with your attention. You don't get beat yourself up about it. You just say, oh, I'm going to tap my fingers some more, and you keep doing that. And that helps you like stay enough aware that when you are fully asleep and dreaming, you're like still aware. So that's kind of a cool way to do it. I think that works for a lot of people too, according to the literature, but different people find different things work. I don't know. And maybe you would find some kind of benefit from doing it, but it always seemed just like a diversion to me. Like I don't know.
Well, I definitely need diversion. So I'm more willing to try anything at this point. Whatever it takes to
Right on.
maintain my focus. So
there's websites and stuff out there about it. I'm sure you could figure out lucid dreaming. It's definitely fun and interesting. You can get to feel what it feels like to fly around and stuff like that.
Yeah. I remember doing that as a child, but I've never been able to do it as an adult.
Really? Like you were aware you were dreaming as a child?
Yeah, and I was even able to like guide the direction of the dream sometimes.
Awesome. Yeah, that's what it is. Kids are naturally magical. All right. Well, I'm going to sign off. I guess we did a good hour here.
I'm not trying to be rude. It was so quiet. It's so peaceful.
You broke up the dead air. That's all. I think I've got some video game time planned with the youngsters today, so I got to go suffer through some Roblox.
Oh God!
Good luck with that.
Burn, destroy Roblox history.
I don't know, man.
What magic
force?
is to time travel? Can I borrow it, please?
We need to stop it. It's Skynet. We need to stop Roblox before it gets too big.
Yeah, exactly.
I need time travel so I can destroy the history of Roblox they were made.
There's a couple of fun games on there. I like the first-person shooters, but but there's way better first-person shooters out there. Hey, have you ever played something
Zelda?
Zomboid? Project Zomboid? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, that's what it's called. Project Zomboid. It's like a Sims game that's also a zombie survival game. It's awesome. You have to like feed your character and stuff like that, but they also like have to go out and hurt zombies. And if they get cut or bit or whatever, they slowly start to turn. It's awesome. Huh. You have to run around and loot other houses, and it's hard to explain. It's a really fun game. Anyway.
Are we doing any shills for upcoming shows or content before we go off air? Or,
At the moment, no.
I got nothing.
Well, I think we'll be back on Monday with another one of our regular videos, right?
Yeah. That's the only one that I can really think of at the moment.
What time do you guys go on Monday usually?
Usually around like the same time, like 1 p.m. or sometimes I'll add more time to in case if someone is doing something or they're coming in late or something like that. So
well,
it really depends.
I don't know. You'll probably not want me around after today, but if you ever
Oh, come
Denied.
on.
That's no.
Bad talk.
I think I think I'm moving to having Mondays off next month. So because I'm
Okay.
going to join a choir and they practice on Mondays. So I
Awesome.
could maybe could start to regularly hang out with you guys, chase some ghosts with
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, that'd be
that'd
awesome.
be awesome.
Anyway, it's been such a pleasure. Thanks so much for having me on. And don't believe in
You're
anything,
welcome.
but believe in everything because it's more fun that way. That's why.
Exactly.
All right, my
Believe
friends.
or not believe, but that is the question.
That's the question. All right, peace, guys. I love you.
Love you, Mac. Great talking to you.
I don't know how the fuck to even end this. Look,
I don't know.
my mind is in a different spot because somebody decided to text me. And I had to explain something almost like I'm fighting them. So
No.
my
Well, you should
mind's
just
in a
turn off your
different.
notifications during shows.
Well, I have, the YouTube chat on my phone in case if something happens to the one on my computer. So, I mean, I do have the notifications on silent, but still.
Yeah, I ignore all types of stuff during live stream. I'm just like swipe, swipe, goodbye. Talk to you later. There's nothing that important,
Yeah.
I mean,
But,
there could be, but it's not. So.
yeah, no. I just didn't want to do with him, so I just said exactly what I wanted to say and just left it there.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever he says, I'm just gonna fucking ignore it. I'm done with it. So, but besides that, that was a pretty good. For some reason in my head when we thought of doing this, I thought it was gonna go on for longer. But then it's like once you get up to that point, it's like everything just throws away out of your head.
Hey, an
So,
hour and some change is a decent stream, so.
yeah, it's not too bad. But well, thank you for the people that stopped by, and hopefully I'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Talk to y'all later.